Don Lemon just reminded me of exactly why I do the type of content that I do. Last night, I was watching him on YouTube, and he had an episode called The Rise of the Digital Black Sellout. In this episode, Don and his guest were criticizing the YouTube creator, Officer Tatum. So Don Lemon is friends with comedian D.L. Hughley, and the three of them have been having this online beef the last couple of weeks about the Nolan Wells case. So Don Lemon and his guest were being critical of Officer Tatum and content creators like him, and they were calling them digital sellouts. The reason I took exception to that is because Officer Tatum does content like I do, where he's just simply honest about the issues in the black community, and he doesn't sugarcoat things or just go along with empty narratives. So what makes me mad is that Don Lemon and D.L. Hughley are currently making a career, getting views, pretty much promoting black victimhood and racism. The reason that annoys me, especially from someone like Don Lemon, is because this guy has literally become worth, I think, over $20 million, and he's had nothing but white support throughout his life. Don Lemon is heavily focused on race baiting, and he's criticizing content creators like myself, which are simply just honest black people. It irritates me because Don Lemon is a gay black man in America. I believe he's worth over $20 million, and he was on CNN, a major network, for I want to say about 17 years. He's richer than most white people. He was employed by white people. He's married to a white man. His big audience base comes from white people, but he got the audacity to be going out there race baiting and talking about how racist America is. So the reason Don Lemon doesn't like Officer Tatum and people such as myself and other content creators is because we're tired of this racial division and nonsense and people always pushing this black victimhood narrative. So last night when I was watching Don, it just triggered me, and it made me realize, like, no, I gotta keep doing content like this, because we gotta balance out the voices coming from the black community, because you realize you got the people like the Ben Crumps, Al Sharpton, Don Lemon, D.L. Hughley, and all of them are essentially making a living just keeping victimhood alive. The annoying thing is, they don't see how bad this is for the black community. It basically makes black people look like crybabies because we spend all our time worrying about racism instead of focusing on the opportunities that we have in America. So yeah, I've always liked Don Lemon. I don't have any problems with him personally, but when I see what he's doing and other content creators like him, I realize I gotta say something because we gotta balance this out.
What's going on, everybody? I appreciate you guys pulling up today. The Honorable Brother Booker T. Washington said over 100 years ago that there is another class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public, having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles. They have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. I would say mostly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs. And I've said, and I've read this quote a multitude of times on this channel, and it's crazy that they did have a show, Don Lemon, Digital Sellouts. The reality of it is that the true sellouts are the Don Lemons, are the D.L. Hughleys, and all those other people, over there grifting. They know that, black folks in America ain't bad off like that. They know it. Most are in the daggone middle class. Most are doing pretty daggone well. Are there some issues? Absolutely. Should they be called out and addressed? Absolutely. But you got a lot of people out there that make a lot of money on this grift. The Ben Crumps and Al Sharptons have become millionaires off of this grift. They are the class of colored people who want to make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race in before the public. They need to. And in most cases, at this point now, they'll make it up. The great Thomas Sowell said, hey, racism isn't dead, but it's on life support. And it's people like Don Lemon. It's people like Ben Crump. It's people like the Tiffany Crosses and Angela Rise and the Bakari Sellers. It's people like them that keep this thing going because that's how they make their money. They're shields for the Democrat Party, and they make a lot of money telling well-to-do black folks, because the reality of it is this: If you're in the United States of America, you are the 1%. That's just a fact. If you are a part of the 4%, and what I mean by the 4%, that means that part of the 4% that are Americans in the world, only 4% of the world's population are Americans. If you are part of that 4%, from a financial standpoint, you are actually in the 1% when you start looking at things financially around the world. When you look at Black Americans, and we'll just say Americans who happen to be highly melanated, these are the wealthiest group, you know what I'm saying, of highly melanated individuals in the world. And it's not even close. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that there aren't even any issues. A lot of the issues are self-inflicted at this point. But it pays. The same way it pays to pander to women and to pander to the alphabet community, it also pays to pander to these weak, insecure, highly melanated individuals. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. There's more.
I got something I want to say to Don Lemon. First of all, I was told not to go on your show. They warned me. My partners in the music business, they said, do not do that guy's show. He's going to try to make you look bad. He's going to lie on you, which is what he's trying to do. He's trying to discredit everything I said because I beat him on his own show. You can watch him at the end when he did that fake laugh. That's when I knew I had him. I said, oh, Don coming for me. I knew he was going to try to attack my character. Bruh, the truth is this. I'm more closest to the Wells family than any other family on this Gulf Coast. No, Christina ain't the one that I'm close to, even though we know each other. Nolan's mom. I'm close to the relatives, the Wells. Me and my partner, we went to barber school together. I know his 6 siblings, their mom. I want to call his name, but he probably don't want me to. Me and his other cousin, we get up and go eat, hang out. This past Sunday, we were supposed to hang out. Do this all the time. Shout out to Diggs. And that's just a grizzly bear fact. And then how we know he ain't make that up? Talking about a member of the Wells family called in and said that don't know them like that. We all know what like that mean. It mean he do know them, but not like that. Nah, bruh. You sitting up on your show trying to talk about white people and like you so pro-black. And the truth is this. But isn't your spouse a white person? Don? I mean, bruh, I don't get it.
Yeah. Should have listened to your partners. You knew you wasn't going to get a fair interview, over there, especially, if you started to like really speak the truth of what was going on or what has been, going on, out there in Ocean Springs. There were people, and I did go and look at this interview on Don's platform, and there were people in the comment section. There's a lot of, Black folks in the comment section, and they're like, man, get this clown off of here. He don't know what he's talking about, so forth and so on. And this is a man that lives in the area. And even I have said, on this platform that, hey, I'm not out here saying that, racism doesn't exist. It's definitely not as prevalent as a lot of folks make it. And for whatever reason, and I hear it, you hear, Black folks always talking about white people. Not always, but I've heard enough of it. And I'm just like, if you just out here walking around functioning in your freedom, those aren't things that you experience. But because of this social media and this narrative that's been pushed, it has a lot of people concerned. Now, where I came from, to be honest with you, white folks wasn't your concern. It was these YNs. They were your concern. And in a lot of places in the South, that is still the case. Don Lemon brought up the Klan. I'm like, man, the Klan is the least of anybody's concern. And you better check these daggone YNs and all these dudes out here carjacking, robbing, stealing, gang banging. Those are the concern. You ain't heard nothing in reference to, the Klan. He invoked the Proud Boys, which the Proud Boys actually has, quote unquote people of color. There's some black folks, there's some biracial folks, within the Proud Boys, but that's just the language that has been pushed. That's just the MO that's been pushed, on these folks to say, oh man, these are white supremacists. It's like, what are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? You could turn on the news in any major metropolitan in the country, and you're not going to hear a word about the Klan or the neo-Nazis or any of these folks, but you will hear about these YNs out here thugging and bugging like it's nobody's business. You will hear about that. And then Don Lemon had the nerve. I think he's projecting here. I need you guys to hear this, but he had the nerve to say this.
Sometimes the love for people of a different ethnicity is a similar love, especially for blacks and whites, all right? Especially of a certain generation. It's the same sort of love that you have for a pet, where you are, I'm serious, where you love them, you protect them, you pay for everything, but it doesn't mean it's the same love that you have for a human being.
This guy's crazy. Sounds like projection. I wish Emmanuel said, oh, is that your situation with your white husband? Is that your situation with your white partner? I wish he would have came out and said that. Seriously. For Don Lemon, who is married, who is in a civil union, we're going to call it that. We're not going to say marriage, because marriage is a biblical thing. In a civil union with a white man. For him to come out here and say that, is that projection? For the life of me, I don't understand these Democrats who talk like this, man. All of these Democrats out here, they got nothing but negativity to say when it comes to white folks, and these are the people that they're in relationships with. Now, I know down here where I'm at, I see plenty of interracial relationships, blacks, women and men. You see the, white men with black women, black men with white women, and, all other kind of races as well. I think here in America, because we are a melting pot, you're just more likely to see, people, of quote unquote different, ethnicities, getting together because it's really about proximity. That's really what it's about. But for Don Lemon to come out here and say something along those lines, man, it sounds like he's projecting. That's what it sounded like to me. And I wish Emmanuel would have called him out on it, opposed to just laughing. I wish. And what's crazy is that the people that watch this dude's show, he's doing well, he's doing very well, on YouTube. And I'm talking about Don. He's doing very well since he's moved over into this platform, because he does pander to the right crowd. And the reality of it is this: you want to blow up on these platforms, pander to black people, pander to women, and pander to the alphabet community, and you will blow up on this platform. It won't take you long to do it. But when you start speaking the truth, when you start holding people accountable, oh man, you're on the struggle bus. That is a fact. Not to say that you can't grow, not to say that, but if you really want to fast track, that's the route to go.
This stuff take time, bro. Investigation. I'm gonna tell you something, man. By the time it's all said and done, half of Ocean Springs might be going to prison, or half of Ocean Springs might be going on a vacation. You don't know yet. So just chill. I'm only speaking what I think is best to be spoken to keep the peace until the facts come out.
You know what, fam? I ain't got no problem with him saying that. Keep the peace until the facts come out. I ain't got no problem with him saying that. Somebody gonna have to step up. Somebody gonna step up and put the pieces to the puzzle together. Somebody gonna have to step up. I can understand why E would say, hey, let's just keep the peace until we find out what happens. E is on the ground. He has to live there. So while we're all over the country and other parts of the world speaking on this case, he still has to live there. He still has to get up and go to the grocery store, run errands, do whatever it is that he does while he's living in that particular town, that particular state. So he has to move a little bit differently. So I get that.
And then we started talking about race. you know how that is.
Yeah, because you raised baiting. All right, so here's the thing. I'm gonna play the interview. It's a phenomenal interview. I do find it interesting. You'll like what I have to say in the interview, and what I said in the interview starts during the interview. Right. So right now I'm gonna say one more thing, and then I'm gonna start during the interview. I do find it interesting that I haven't talked to Nolan's family, so I don't really know what they saying behind the scenes about who they know, and I haven't talked to them in detail. It's just interesting that they don't know none of these. They're claiming to not know none of these people, and that they're delegitimizing their experience. And these people are telling me the experiences they've had with Nolan. They're showing me pictures of them. Nolan is hanging out with them. He's at Horn Island with them. He's at their house. They boating, fishing. The boys that I interviewed, all their parents love Nolan. They talk very well of him. They talk about how he's hanging around the family all the time, and they love him. Tracy is telling all these stories about Nolan and him. And then the gentleman, which you're going to see in the interview, Elijah, is telling us all these stories about haircuts, naming family members that he hang out with. He just told me that he just saw Nolan's father. And was that in the interview? I don't want to say it if it wasn't in the interview. At the gym, was that in the interview? Let me, I'm going to back off of that. It may be in the interview. I don't want to say something that we didn't say in the interview. But, you know, it seems to me that the stories that Elijah was telling me seems very genuine, and it seems like he has a connection and know of in a small town. But all of a sudden, he's just making this up, allegedly. Wait till you see the interview, you'll know what I'm talking about. All right, let's get to the interview. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that you guys would love to see this interview, highly anticipated. My next guest is a man that I literally watched his interview on a prominent journalist show just the other day, and I said, I like this guy. I agree with everything he's saying. Why is he getting so much pushback? So I had the team go and reach out to him. We were able to find him, and he's going to join me right now on our show. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the show, Emmanuel. He's on social media, Cutting with E. So y'all go follow him. Go check his social media out. But Emmanuel, I had to do it. I had to bring you on the show, man. I felt like you were very fair and impartial and balanced and consistent with people that I've heard when I traveled to Mississippi to talk to. Like, I think the world needs to hear from people that know the family or have connections to the family of Nolan, have connections to people on the other side, and that live in Mississippi. So I want to start baseline in case people, this is the first time they're seeing you. What is your connection in Mississippi? Like, how long have you lived in Mississippi? And also, what's your connection to Nolan Wells family?
My connection to the Wells family and is being a barber, but me and another guy, which is his cousin, me and him went to barber school together. Shout out to Ernest. And so I've always been around the Wells. Me and another Wells, Dex, we eat all the time. We get up, eat all the time. But I met Nolan as a baby. One of my partner's mother was babysitting Nolan when Christine was in nursing school. And so she would babysit him all the time. And he would come to my barbershop, and I gave him his first haircut. And he would be up here with them all the time. And he was just a little cute kid, just like any kid is. And I told Don and this yesterday. But one of the funny things was every time he would leave, we would ask him to say his name. This is when he first started talking. And he would say, Nolan Wells. So we would always ask him to say his name, man. But yeah, so, you know, and then time went on. And then I started watching him play high school football, you know what I'm saying? And his father got him right. He actually had the right size to be a NFL wide receiver. And you know, that's your background, you know, a football guy. But I want you to get your question in, but I also want to say something. I don't know if I can say this right quick, or you got another question?
No, go ahead.
But last night I sat in this very chair with an ink pen and my phone in my hand. I went to the gym, and once I left the gym, I was different. I said I wasn't gonna even talk about Nolan anymore, and here's why. It's so much going on around it, Tatum. So much. You don't know what to believe. It's all over the place. And when you start seeing stuff like that, you thinking that they found something, and then everybody's down this path, and then that rug get pulled out from under you. So last night I went to the gym, and of course, his father is one of the strongest, muscular man in the world. His whole family's like that. All his uncles play in the NFL, running back and whatnot. But I saw him in there, and we talked. And I'm getting beat up a lot from a lot of people because I keep saying, let's let the evidence come out before we jump to conclusions. We don't know nothing. Just please let the evidence come out. You can't go out punching and fighting nobody or doing bodily harm to nobody. You don't even know who to punch. You don't know nothing right now. And I'm getting a lot of pushback just because I say that. So his father was in agreement with me. Yes, we got to let the evidence come out. But after I walked away from him, we as podcasters, YouTubers, radio personnel, TV personnel, it's our job to talk about this stuff, right? It's the hottest topic in the world, overseas. Now, that's why I said the world. It really is. The BBC everywhere. And when I was talking to him, he was telling me, just pray for me. That's what he said. Just pray for me, man. Now you talking about a muscular, big guy. I mean, he like your size, bro.
Yeah.
Guns. And to see him slowly getting emotional, he said, all I want to know is get justice for my son. What happened to my son? I just want the facts to come out about my son. And when I walked away from him, because it got to a point when we was talking, both of us stopped talking. Because I will fight back tears myself because I see what he doing, what he fighting. So I just hugged him and told him I love you. I had to go to the machine. He had to go to his machine. We got to get out of this. And when I walked out of there, I said, you know what? I'm not going to talk about Nolan. I'll talk about things surrounding it. But those people, we're talking about stuff at their expense. He said to me that he hasn't even been watching social media, TV, nothing. He just want to kind of get away from it, and he just won't. He's tunnel vision. I just want justice for my son. And the other reason, I'm close to the family. I'm here. Like I said, I just went to the gym, and he was in there working out. I've been knowing Christine since she was like in high school. She's been in my barbershop several times. Her and my sister-in-law was good friends. My sister-in-law and her come from the same community. They both half Asian and black. And we're a small town. Everybody know everybody. I've been hanging out with her cousins for many, many years. So I wanted to give them that respect. I don't want to hurt nothing. I'm not trying to do that. I'm constantly, here's what started me down this path. I saw so many people that was upset and we got to do this and do that, do it. And I was trying to be the voice of reason, saying, let's please wait. Can we please wait? And nobody wanted to wait. And I'm like, y'all don't know what to go do.
Right.
Can we wait for something to come out to find out? And I really do hate Officer Tatum. And I'm gonna tell the viewers something. Everybody, they hard on you. They feel you hate black people. I guess that's how they feel. But I'm gonna tell you something. The man has a genuine heart. Just like all of us, I got a genuine heart. Sometimes things don't come out the way we feel it. But Christine, his mother, I hate that they are internet bombing her. She lost her child in a mysterious manner. Nobody knows, or it hasn't came out yet, what the truth is. Because somebody knows something, it's just we don't know yet.
Right.
So however she's acting, whatever, she's saying, me personally, I give her grace in that area because she's emotional. She's all over the place right now. Her husband is all over the place. He's emotional. They are still emotional. Man, this is how traumatic can something be? This is very traumatic.
True.
So I wanted to say that on everybody's behalf, and I hope everybody leave her alone. Stop internet bombing her. That's not deserving, because you can feel any kind of way you want to feel. You don't even have to agree with the people that she's running with, but you got to understand that is a woman who just lost her real child. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And please, people, I'm pleading to you on Officer Tatum's show. This is me to just please cease with that, because you don't know what they're going through and how you can cause them to go further down a rabbit hole with their health. You know, there's mental health involved and a lot of things, you know?
Yeah, I understand where he is coming from. And this video definitely, took a turn that I didn't really expect for it to take. But I'm glad I let him speak and let him get that out, because that is something that, he wasn't able to get out, over on Don Lemon's show. And I'm with him, and I think we discussed this, a while back, like, hey, let's get the facts. Let's get the real details as to what happened. I don't think any of us appreciate how, Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, they got down there and tried to make this thing a race thing. They tried to make it seem like, hey, these, 4 or 5 boys, Nolan being the only black, individual, they went to this island, it was secluded, and they come back and, Nolan comes up missing. And the next thing you know, they find him 2 days later, he washes up on the beach. And that's how they portrayed this. And that's why this story has the legs that it has. And that's why, things have turned the way it's turned. And, it's unfortunate, that, Nolan's parents chose to go down this road. I think we all want justice. We all want to know exactly what happened and what went down. And I'm with Emmanuel. Somebody knows something, would be my assumption. But let's get the facts first. Let's allow the investigation to take place and get an understanding as to what went down. And in my opinion, instead of hiring or bringing on a Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, why not hire your own, private investigator to let them, do some research and some digging as well, on your behalf. But to push this race narrative, and then you have the Don Lemons and the D.L. Hughley's and all of them to push this race narrative, it's really sad, man. It really is. And, it's unfortunate, but I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. You can support the channel by joining the ARP family. You can buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. The Cash App works as well. That link's in the description box below. I appreciate the love and support. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked death from my breath, put power in my step.